gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's June 1st, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, brought to you as always by Wallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health. And Matt Shodell, time to take charge of your personal health, man. I'm staying away. Matt's on COVID protocol, everybody. He got a little too close to some people that had COVID this past weekend, and he's taking hourly tests to try to make sure that he's okay. But he's secluding himself from the world, which is a good thing. And I'm going to tell you why, because it means that Matt has more time to do work for everyone's benefit. So it's a win-win all around. So Matt, first let me just say, how you feeling?
I mean, a little sore throat, but I took a PCR yesterday. I'm waiting on the results and whatever, man. I mean, my family was exposed. Like I told you yesterday, don't visit your in-laws. It's not worth it for numerous reasons.
Well, and Matt, Matt's got a lot of doctors in his family and stuff, so they're serious about this. Like, a lot of people would just say, my throat's a little scratchy, I don't care, jump on planes, live their normal life, whatever, and infect thousands of people with COVID. They don't care. Matt, no, man, Matt's he's a good one, man. He's taking this very seriously. He's secluded in his house, walking around even with a mask in your house at times, right?
N95, yeah.
Yeah. So, Matt.
I mean, look, different people do it different ways. I have some people I know who, test positive, quarantine for a few days, and then go out and about again. Some people who do what the CDC says. Like, I mean,
I'm at a wedding.
I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to preach to anybody.
No, listen.
So everyone, it's a very touchy subject, apparently. Science is a very touchy subject.
It really is. It's hysterical, really. I was at a wedding the other night, and I go up to the bar to get myself a drink, and within like 5 seconds, some guy comes and stands next to me and starts coughing like a maniac. And I'm just thinking to myself, like really? But anyway, enough COVID talk. Today is June 1st, and it's a big day. It's a big day for many reasons. But I can tell you guys something. This month of June is going to be absolutely lit when it comes to covering recruiting. And, we're going to do our best. There's going to be a lot going on. We may have to cover it a little differently than we have in the past, just because of the volume of information, the volume of things to run down and all that. I don't know if I remember a month like this ever, but this month is going to be absolutely insane. And one of the stories that's on the website today kind of gives you guys a wrap up of everything that's going on, from camps to unofficial visits to official visits. And Matt, when everybody takes a look at that story, I think they're going to be blown away by the volume of recruiting action that's going to be taking place this month, and B, that Mario Cristobal and his staff can keep up with it all.
Yeah, I think in the story, we listed 50 prospects that are expected to visit, but there's going to be well over 10,000 prospects. No, there's going to be well over 50, and we just list 50 that are high priority. But there's going to be 2024 and 2025 kids that are going to emerge. There's going to be new offers that are going to go out. There's going to be at least 40 commitments, NIL deal commitments, not actual commitments. Don't get anyone excited. But no, there should be some commitments, I would think, this month. And that's exciting because everyone was complaining, where's all the commitments? What's going on? The staff is working so hard and nothing's happening. Well, it'll start paying off, and I think it'll start paying off this month. So I encourage everyone to try and weed through the ginormous story. And I use the word ginormous quite a bit, as a matter of fact. Whenever I go to a coffee shop out of town, I order the ginormous coffee size, and they just stare at me. I don't really care, but it's a ginormous list. And, because I don't know what they call it anymore. There's venti, there's large, there's extra large. Everyone has a different name for it. I just say ginormous, call me crazy. Anyway, but yeah, so there's a ton of top visitors, and we sort of break them down, and we try to give you guys an idea of where else they're taking official visits to in June. Who else is in the picture with several of them, and it's going to be really interesting,
So a big question on the message boards is revolved around NIL, and there's one poster. I'm trying to remember which one it is. I can't remember, so I won't mention it by name. But there's one poster that keeps starting threads and posting that Miami is falling behind everybody in NIL, and I keep saying, and no, Miami's not falling behind. Miami has been out ahead in the early stage of NIL, which it has with mostly transfer portal folks. And now it's traditional recruiting time. And the NCAA is all over this thing. It has made people take their NIL efforts a little bit more to the background. And the letter of the law says you can't use NIL as a recruiting inducement. So, I can't go to Jaden Rashada and say, "Hey, Jaden, if you come, if you come to Miami, we'll give you a $2 million NIL deal."
Yeah, wink, wink. Yeah, sure.
There could be some wink winks in there potentially.
This is why this person has a perception Miami's falling behind, because you hear about other schools allegedly breaking the rules. You don't hear about Miami allegedly breaking the rules. So that's why the perception is other schools are ahead of the game, even though Miami has John Ruiz and his amazing Life Wallet stock.
Well, he's been a little distracted lately, so he's not being as public with NIL these days. The truth of the matter is he's a lawyer. He's very by the book, and he's not supposed to be talking about recruiting high school players. And Look. I mean, I obviously Miami's going to be in the NIL game. I don't think Miami's falling behind anybody or anything at this point. I do think there's some philosophical decisions that need to be made, just how aggressive they want to be with high school kids in NIL. And there's a couple different trains of thought there, man. I mean, some people say, screw it, just be aggressive, just pay. But others realize that the more that you pay, the more problems you potentially might create in your locker room, because there's going to be a great disparity in the amount of money the players are making. And you're going to have true freshmen who have never even had a practice walking through the door with bigger NIL deals than established veterans. Matt, that is not a formula for success, in my opinion. What do you think?
Of course, I think you're wrong. In the NFL, there's a huge disparity in the NFL. Those teams seem to get along just fine. The point is, if you're a better player, you probably deserve more money. I don't think anyone would dispute that. I don't think a locker room.
You haven't proven you're a better player yet.
I don't think a locker room is going to dissolve because Tyler Van Dyke has proven himself and is getting more money than Xavier Restrepo, for instance. It's not, to me, that's not the issue. To me, the issue is you have one guy, John Ruiz, and you're sort of, like I was, saying his amazing Life Wallet stock. But the truth is, Miami fans need the Life Wallet stock to do well, because right now he's the face of the program. And if that stock keeps faltering, I don't know what happens. Miami needs John Ruiz right now, because that conglomerate we're waiting on hasn't really come into focus yet. Other programs have done it. I'm not sure it's legal. I think the NCAA is going to really crack down on them. But again, that feeds this perception of, oh my gosh, we have one guy, and these other programs are sort of getting these conglomerates of fans giving millions of dollars. And it is a little troubling maybe to some. I'm not concerned right now because I know it's going to come together. But I think some Miami fans are like, where is it? They want to see it yesterday. That's how things are nowadays. Everything has to happen that second. God forbid they put a structure in place and try to do it the right way, and it takes a little longer than other places where it's just a bunch of boosters doing things illegally that are going to come back and backfire on that program. But in the meantime, that program's like, hey, we got millions of dollars we're going to give out, not the program, but I mean the boosters. So it's a slippery slope all the way around. You had John Ruiz, who was helping promote his business, which is how it's supposed to be, trying to promote his business through these NIL deals. Right now, not great if you just look at the stock. But
Okay,
but that's the point of
this. There's a mistake I think you're making in looking at that. What does the stock price have to do with NIL?
Well, because
okay,
I think
wait. Now listen, MSP Recovery is a business. Okay, it is a functioning business with 100 employees or whatever they got.
Yeah.
That has been in business for many, many years. Okay, and I'm assuming they have the few $1 million in their budget to do NIL deals with players.
That's
it has
not
nothing to do with the stock price. So
you're twisting my words. What I'm saying is I think he did the deals to help his business, and his business is Life Wallet, which went public. And I think the idea was, let's get this thing rolling, and Miami, having Miami players as the face of Life Wallet can help the business of Life Wallet, which is now a stock. So that didn't really come to
MSP
fruition.
is a stock. Yeah.
MSPR is a stock that includes Life Wallet, right?
Well, Life Wallet is part of them.
It's a big portion of it. That's the whole logarithm he talks about. That can be applied to others, but right now it's just Life Wallet. But anyway, the point is, I think that he was hoping NIL would help his business, which is a stock now. This isn't John Ruiz, the lawyer, that is signing NIL deals. This is Life Wallet, which is a part of the stock. So, I think he was hoping it would sort of help the stock, and maybe the stock would be doing worse if he didn't do the NIL deals. I don't know, but I don't think he was just doing the NIL deals to hand out money like boosters would, which technically would be illegal anyway. I think he was legitimately doing it to help, not just the University of Miami, but help himself, which is how this is supposed to work. Now I can't quantify if it helped or not. I mean, the stock hasn't done well, but maybe it would have been doing worse if these weren't, if he didn't sort of get Life Wallet out there in the universe, Yeah.
All right. So I got to do some digging onto this collective that was supposed to be forming and see what the status of that is. I keep promising to do that. It's just that things have been a little hectic lately, but I'm going to do that here in the next few days and try to get a feel for where things stand with that. But the one thing I could say about this subject before we move on is I don't think Miami's fallen behind anything in NIL. I think there's been a little bit of a pause button hit, maybe some introspection going on, trying to figure out just how they want to handle all of this stuff, moving forward. And I think everybody around the country is doing the same thing because the NCAA has been fishing in those waters, and I think there's got to become an understanding of exactly what the protocols are going to be and how everybody's going to manage it. And I think we're in that time frame now, but it's very quickly going to come out of that time frame, Matt, because I'm going to go back full circle where we began this conversation, and that is that it's the month of June, and recruiting is going to be insane with all these kids coming to campus and coaches trying to get commitments, and it's not just at Miami, it's at every school in the country. And it's going to be quite a month. So I suggest everybody fasten your seatbelts and get ready for some fun and some drama and everything else, because I think we're going to have it all in the month of June.
I concur.
Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to shift gears.
We can agree on one thing, and that's
how about that?
Total chaos in June. Total chaos.
Total chaos.
I agree.
All right. So now let's shift gears to another subject here. Quarterback Dante Moore out of the Detroit area has been a big name in recruiting, not just at Miami, but a lot of other schools, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Oregon, among others. And there's been a perception, really, that Miami's been all about Jaden Rashada and Emory Williams, and that Dante Moore kind of had slipped into the background. Well, we have a story today that will tell you that is simply not the case. And, Matt, you spoke to Dante Moore's dad, got the scoop, and Dad's a Miami guy. Dad likes Miami. And he told us last night that absolutely Miami is in the mix for Dante Moore, and that no, Notre Dame is not a lock, and no, that Texas A&M, even though it's getting his next visit, is not a lock, and that the Hurricanes have as good a chance, maybe even better than most.
Big fan of Dante Moore's dad. Dante Moore.
Yeah, I met him. I met him at the spring game.
He's
very
great.
nice guy.
Not quite as big a fan anymore of Harlan Rashada, the father of Jaden and Roman, only because like I've been trying to. I don't bother you. Look, you guys know I don't bother people. I talk about this all the time. You know.
You bother us every day.
I don't like getting Jaleel Florence. Okay, that's not my thing. I don't enjoy it. So I've reached out to Harlan, the dad of the Rashada brothers. I reached out to him like once a month ago, a couple of times a month ago. Reached out to him again yesterday and called. I left him a message, and he was nice enough to respond by text. He responded, "Matt, what's up?" ? To which I said, "Hey Harlan! ! Hope all good. Are either of your sons visiting Miami in June? ? Thanks." And my understanding is at least one, if not both. I think Jaden's supposed to come in June. He was supposed to come twice last month also. He never showed up. So guess what Harlan responded to that, Gary?
Maybe.
I'm still waiting. I was hoping you had an answer. He hasn't told you either?
Everybody thinks covering recruiting is fun. Oh my God. There's a reason why we are on a hunt right now for 2 new staffers. There is so much.
Wait, you're replacing me?
No, I'm supplementing you.
Because I was hoping for a minute I was going to be set loose.
There is so much recruiting to cover right now.
And hold on, let me tell you something, okay? By the way, the Matt what's up ? Text that I was sent, he sent that at 3:32. I'm looking yesterday afternoon. I responded at 3:33. So it's not like he didn't see it, you know, like, and I didn't send another text. I didn't call him back. I didn't want to get Jaleel Florence, okay? I just let it be. But I'm just telling you guys, like, this is what happens in the land of the report. Everyone wants to be a sports reporter. It's so much fun. It's the greatest job ever. Sometimes, you know, sometimes not so great.
But yeah, covering recruiting is not fun a lot of the time. It's a little crazy. But anyway, back to Dante Moore. Miami very much in the mix. He is going to Texas A&M soon.
Yeah. So you want me to talk about the interview with his dad, or not so much?
What did you say?
You want me to talk about the interview with his dad, or we're done with that?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so the dad's great. He's great. And, you know, generally you do your interview with whoever, the recruit, a dad, a coach, whatever, man. So I'm, you know, wrapping up with, you know, well, I've talked to the dad before. Super nice guy. We have a really great rapport. I like him a lot. And, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, I really appreciate your time. You know, thanks so much. And you know, sometimes a recruiter or a dad or whatever at the end will just say something off the cuff that you're not even expecting. And it was after the interview was, to me, done. You know, like I'm like signing off basically, you know, and that's when he said, which was the best quote of the whole thing, that we're just keeping it low key, not flashy. Everyone thinks we're off Miami, but we're just not looking for attention. Nobody knows anything. Everyone keeps wondering, which to me was the best quote of the whole thing. And it wasn't even an answer to one of my questions. He just like blurted it out when I'm like, hey, I really appreciate your time, man. You know, keep me updated. Just blurts it out, you know? So I thought that was a nice little end to the conversation.
Yep, and he's got himself firmly implanted on the Matt Shodell A-list, which is a very important thing. I think you and I would agree on that.
I don't even know what that means, but okay. What's the
A-list? You like him? You like?
Oh yeah, okay. Listen, I don't like any. Let's just be straight, okay? I'm not a friendly guy. I don't like anybody. He's just somebody that I don't not like, if that makes sense. There's people I don't like, and there's people I don't not like. Don't not like. He's one I don't not like. I think that's a positive, right? For me, that's a positive. I'm just a negative person. What do you want from me?
All right. There's one other thing I do want to talk about today, but we do have one other recruiting story on the website this morning, and it's about a 2025 defensive end by the name of Wilmerson Telemock. He's from Miami Northwestern High School. So you might say, oh, geez, why are Gary and Matt talking about a 2025 kid? This is not your typical 2025 kid. He played varsity at Northwestern as a freshman this past year, which is a really big deal. And he's already on the radar as a recruit, even though he's got 3 years left. And he's going to be on the Miami campus not once in the month of June, but twice, which gives you an idea that they really want to start building a bond with Wilmerson. and get to know him and see his skill set, maybe try to help mold him a little bit so that by the time the 2025 recruiting cycle gets here, that it's unbreakable and that Wilmerson Telemark, if he continues to develop into that type of player, will be a Miami Hurricane. So
my favorite thing about Wilmerson is his name. And I'm not talking about his first name, I'm talking about his last name. Because someone on the message board was asking, is this Vaughn Telemark's son? First of all, Vaughn Telemark, if I remember correctly, was from across the country, which he could have stayed in Miami, of course. But if you do the math, I think Vaughn would have had Wilmerson at age 16 or something like that. And the answer is no. Okay, but the answer is just no. There's more than one Telemark. I can't say it. Telemac, whatever. There's more than one of them in the world, So it's not like Smith or Jones or Van Dyke. There's a million of those. But there are two Telemacs in the world, and one of them is Vaughn, and this is a totally different Telemac. This is the other Telemac.
How many Shodells are there?
Oh, you really want to know the story?
I'll take it back. If it's long-winded, no, we don't want to hear it. No.
Okay, fine.
All right. Do you guys out there want to hear the story of how many Shodells are in the world? Can you keep it to 20 seconds? I don't want to be presumptuous. There might be some people that want to hear about how many Shodells are in the world. Go ahead.
I'll just say it's a made-up name. If people want to know why it's made up, they can post on the message board and we can talk about it tomorrow. It's a longer story than 20 seconds.
But it's a made-up name.
It is a made-up name. There are no other Shodells in the world. That's true. If people want to hear the story, I'll tell the story tomorrow.
Other than your direct family.
Correct. My grandfather made up the name, and I could tell people why if they're actually interested.
All right. We'll save that for another time because
more than 20 seconds just doing this thing about not finding even out. I probably could have told the whole story in the amount of time it took you to say I can't take more than 20 seconds to talk about it. But now forget it.
All right, now I feel bad. Go ahead, take 20 seconds.
No. We'll see if people want to talk.
Tell us real quick. I feel bad now.
I'm curious if people even want to know. So now I want to see if people want to know. They can. My guess is if they did a poll, who wants to know why Matt Shodell has a made-up name? I think the poll would be overwhelmingly that nobody wants to hear why Matt Shodell has a made-up name. I think nobody cares. So let's continue.
Right.
And by the way, you didn't mention the Van Dyke story from yesterday. I was very.
Wait, I'm not done yet. Just let me run the show, please. We have things we got to do. There's a flow to this. Okay.
Let's go. I got.
We do have one more subject, which Matt unfortunately just gave away to discuss today. But first, let's take a moment and hear from our friends at Life Wallet.
We here at Life Wallet take security very seriously. Our data security team is working constantly to make sure that your data is not accessed by anybody who you don't authorize.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm
excuse me, sir. Thank you.
I have it on CC, and he's thinking about it, and I'll be talking to CC. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We use leading technology standards like biometric data to make sure that only you have access to your data and your identity is protected. LifeWallet gives you access to your entire medical history and information at the touch of your finger so that it can save you time and can save your life.
Data transfer complete.
Hey, did you see Tyler Van Dyke was on the video screens in Times Square in Manhattan the other day when MSP Recovery went public, and they had their whole staff up there in New York to see the stock exchange at the opening bell and all that. Well, and they obviously bought time on the video screens in Times Square because they had Tyler Van Dyke's picture up there, and I thought that was kind of cool. And John Ruiz posing, throwing up the U all over Manhattan and stuff like that. It was, kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I was walking around Times Square and everybody kept saying, "Who is that?" This is the problem with the NCAA. They won't let the student athlete identify themselves as who they are. You can't wear Miami colors. You can't wear a Miami hat. You can't have any identifying things that would even have a U on it on your body. These idiots at the NCAA. I mean, why Why can't they put a U on their shirt or have a hat with a U on it in an ad? It's like it's just trying to like it's just them saying we lost the court case, but we're gonna rub it into you a little bit and make you not be able to, so no one can identify you. No one knows who this guy is unless you're a Miami Hurricane fan. Because let's face it, I mean, if you're not a college football fan or a Miami fan, you probably don't know Tyler Van Dyke's face without a helmet on. You know, it's just the truth.
Well, I can tell you, unfortunately, firsthand these days that when there's attorneys involved, it's not a great thing. So
I don't mind
attorneys. There's a lot of attorneys involved with that NCAA.
You know, John Ruiz is an attorney. I have no problem with attorneys personally, but I guess you had a bad experience once.
Not one, more than once, but and I have a lot of friends that are attorneys, but I have kids that are attorneys. But it's like, man, I'll tell you, they wreak a lot of havoc sometimes. But anyway, so the final thing we wanted to talk about today is Tyler Van Dyke, and Mel Kiper has projected TVD to be the 12th pick in the next NFL draft. And Matt, I think it's spot on. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a great season this year, if he went higher than that. I mean, we've seen him do some amazing things, both on game day and on the practice field. And it's clear that Tyler is very quickly moving in the right direction.
All right. It's time for Matt Shodell's DNR. For those of you that don't remember what that is,
Uh-oh.
It doesn't stand for Do Not Resuscitate. It stands for
does it
daily...
have to do, wait, time out. Does it have to do with Tyler Van Dyke?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Stands for Daily Negative Rant. And it won't be about Gary interrupting me yet again.
Well, I just want to make sure you're on topic, because if you're not going to be on topic, we should finish that topic, and then you should do your daily rant.
I'm always on topic.
But if your daily rant is on topic, Tyler Van Dyke, go ahead.
All right, here's my DNR, okay? There is just this rush to put labels on everything so far in advance. Like, who can be first to put out a betting line for Miami Texas A&M? Who can be first to rank the top 25 teams for 12 months from now? Who could be first to put out a ridiculous who the first rounders are going to be and exactly where they're going to go, not even knowing what teams are picking in what order? I mean, it's insane, man. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to order for breakfast, let alone who's going to be picked 12th 9 months from now. So listen, like, I do have some personal.
9, how about 11? Isn't it? It's 11 months from now almost.
Whatever. I was giving the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I have a personal issue with Mel Kiper too. All right. I used to call Mel Kiper Jr. when he was a nobody, and we were running CaneSport on a shoestring and paste-up boards. I would call him and do stories with him, and he was happy to talk to me as much time as I wanted. We'd do nice features with Mel Kiper, talking about all the Miami Hurricanes, and you know, this wasn't 11 months in advance. This was like the month before the draft. You know, where will they go? What do you think of them? And we do 2 or 3 features a year with Mel Kiper Jr. Then all of a sudden he gets big time, doesn't return my calls, doesn't return your calls, puts up these projections 11 months in advance, which is ridiculous. You know, last year Zion was going to be a first rounder 11 months in advance. He probably wouldn't have been drafted or very late. Will Tyler Van Dyke be a first rounder? I've been told yes, but I'm not putting out my projection 11 months in advance. Like, let's see how the season goes, Mel Kiper. Like, give it a rest, bro. You don't need to put out these, you know, every day leading up to the draft, my new mock draft or whatever. I know it's his job, but it's super annoying. Maybe I'm just annoyed because he blew me off. He Jaleel Florence me 30 years ago. Maybe that's why I'm annoyed. DNR over.
All right. Well, despite your pleas for the contrary, they are putting out these projections, and Tyler Van Dyke is ranked number 12. And you know, Matt, if you're going to do it 11 months in advance, might as well do it with a kid like Tyler Van Dyke. And you know, I was talking to Tyler the other day at one of John Ruiz's many events, and until his agent walked up and made it pretty clear he didn't want Tyler talking to me. So he tells Tyler, "Your dinner's
really
ready." Yeah, this guy is like really beyond like idiotic. Like he's done this. He does this on multiple. He's done this now on multiple occasions. Like he thinks he has to, like, you know, Tyler and I were just sitting there talking. I mean, I know him, you know, relatively well. I mean, we've had many conversations. And his you know, this agent who's like way overzealous. I won't say his name. I'm not going to embarrass him to that degree. Comes up and says, your dinner's here. Like, and that was his way of sending a signal. Hey, like, you know, you don't want to be talking to media. Well, I wasn't talking to him as media.
Let me tell you something,
having-
Gary. I got news for you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a date and Tyler Van Dyke's got like a secret signal he gives. Get rid of this guy.
No,
all right?
absolutely
It's
not.
like the
Tyler
mafia.
Van Dyke is the
Tyler
nicest.
Van Dyke's the
kid-
mafia. He got rid of you, bro.
No, man, he is the nicest kid in the world,
I
and
know,
there's
I'm
no
teasing,
way
I'm teasing.
he's not
He
going to let
likes
some,
us.
he's
Tyler
not
likes
going to
us
let
to
some
talk to-
idiotic agent like ruin him.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
if I get the opportunity to, I would. If you know, I've
That's an
known Drew
agent's job.
Rosenhaus for 35 years, and I don't understand why he would want a guy like this representing his agency. But like, I mean, the guy's really annoyed.
Did Tyler go like this and take his hat off and put it
Matt,
back
there was
on?
another time where he walks up and says, "We're not going to," and I was really doing an interview, and he says, "We're not going to charge you for this one." Like, this is the garbage that this guy's saying in front of Tyler Van Dyke, who's a nice kid, and I can't stand watching agents, try to ruin these kids. Like, he's a nice kid. Nobody's doing anything wrong. Trust me, agent who I won't name. We have Tyler's best interest in mind here. We would never do anything that would be against the contrary. So now, getting back to the conversation.
By the way, I don't even think it's legal for us to unless it's an NIL deal we have signed. I don't even think it's legal to say, "Hey, we'll give you $50 right now to talk to me." Like, is that legal?
That's absurd. Well, I mean, we could. We would have to execute an NIL deal.
You have to sign a contract on the spot.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're just having a friendly conversation. One of the things Tyler told me, which was interesting, was for him, it was all about confidence. And like, the reason the light switch went on in the middle of last season was because he started to have some success, and he started to believe that he really could do this and that he could be a successful college quarterback. And it just kept like building on itself week after week after week as the season went on last year. So now fast forward to this year, he's got that half season of experience plus coming back for the season this year, and he will have the option of going to the NFL after this year, even though it's just his second year playing, his third year in the program, because you only have to go 3 years. So I don't think it's not. I think it's grounded on reality, that number 12 pick by Kiper, and it's going to be fun to see where it goes from here. All right, so before he gets off on another tangent,
we're not going to talk about BC becoming a major national power.
Oh, Boston College,
major national power, amazing.
Blake James,
what a move!
Blake James,
listen, all I want, and I pray this happens. Please, Blake James, hire Manny Diaz as BC's next head coach. I just want that.
How funny would that be if
dying to hope
he gave Manny the head coaching job at Boston College?
I want Manny Diaz as the head coach. I want Mark D'Onofrio as a defense coordinator. I want Al Golden as the tight ends coach. That's all I want for my birthday. That's it. My birthday's not for another 11 months. Just like for Mel Kiper, my birthday's today because it's 11 months away. So Mel Kiper, I'm expecting happy birthday wishes from you today.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen. I don't think he'll give Manny Diaz the head coaching job, but I do think
if the BC coach resigns, Manny Diaz might be the only guy you can hire within a 3-day period, bro. That's all you can do. He's the only one available. He'll take the job right away. You got to hire him. Can't wait.
Can you imagine if that happened? Oh my God, that would be epic. That would be so funny. But yeah, Blake has a decent chance to get the Boston College.
I don't think Blake and Manny like each other so much anymore. Just for fun.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Whatever.
They did not have the best ending at Miami. They didn't talk to each other for the final month of the season before they both were canned.
Yeah, that's true. Hey man, when things go bad, that's what happens. All right, well, that's going to do it for today for Good Morning CaneSport. We thank you so much, as always, for joining us and starting your day with us. For Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. We'll see you next time, everybody.